Welcome back to another episode of Norse Studies with Zakk. We're going over the culture of the Teutons. If you haven't watched any of my episodes, they're in 10-minute intervals. We're just reading this together. Feel free to start at any episode that you've missed. Go back through my page. You can catch up with us. It's pretty easy. We're just going to go through this book together, kind of discern what Wilhelm Groenbeck is trying to say about Norse culture. Chapter 1, Frith, page 12. The historians of the 17th and 18th century had one great advantage. They felt themselves as citizens of the world. They were never strangers to their subject matter, and knew nothing of that shyness which the stranger always feels. They felt themselves at home throughout the inhabited world, at any rate, so long as they remained in their own country, or the lands immediately adjacent, in a bodily sense, and made all further journeyings in the spirit alone. They did not sit fumbling over their material, but went straight to the persons concerned, whether men of the immediate past or those of earliest ages, whether Romans or Greeks, French, English, Hindus, Chinese, or Indians. The historian stepped forward without formality and took his hero cordially by the hand, spoke to him as friend to friend, or let us say as one man of the world to another. There was never any fear. There was never any fear in those days that differences of language or of circumstances in a different age might place obstacles in the way of a proper understanding. Men were inspired with faith in a common humanity, and by the certainty that if once the human element could be grasped, all the rest would work out of itself. All mankind were agreed as to what God was, what good and evil were. All were agreed in patriotism and citizenship, in love of parents and of children. In a word, agreed in all realities. So, in that first little excerpt of the chapter, it's pretty interesting. Wilhelm, I don't like how far away you guys are. Let's try and fix you guys real quick. It's a little better. So, saying in the 17th and 18th centuries, everybody kind of had already met each other and had a pretty fair understanding of one another, and went forth and kind of agreed on basic principles of good and bad. Unlike ancient times where the people would argue about how to do things. If ever this straightforward simplicity that sought its rallying point in things of common human interest were justified in any case, it would be in regard to the Germanic peoples. Page 13. We find here a community based upon general unity, mutual self-sacrifice and self-denial, and the social spirit. A society in which every individual, from birth to death, was bound by consideration for his neighbor. The individuals in this community show in all their doings that they are inspired by one passion, the welfare and honor of their kin. And none of the temptations of the world can move them even for a moment to glance aside. They say themselves that this passion is love. What more natural than that we, who from our own lives know love and its power, should begin with what we have in common with these people we are considering. Given this agreement on the essential point, all that appears strange must surely become simple and comprehensible. So all that appears strange must become simple and comprehensible. I have a feeling that he's going to tell us that we may not understand as deeply as we think we do. Ooh, here we go, people. Now we're going to get into the names. Bergthora, wife of Njal, was a true woman of the old school, strict on one point of honor, inflexible, unforgiving. The key to her character, we might say, is given in the famous words, "Young was I given to Njal, and this I have promised him, that one fate shall come upon us both." There is something of common humanity in the words, something we can appreciate at its true value. On the male side, we have an even more old-fashioned figure to set up as a model. Eagle, I'm going to call him Eagle, that's probably wrong, Skallagrimsson. The most typical representative in Viking times of love of kin. See him as he rides with the body of his drowned son before him on the saddle, carrying it himself to its last resting place. His breast heaving with sobs until his tunic bursts. It is also direct in its appeal, so obvious, natural, that one feels involuntary, as if one could read Eagle's whole soul in this one episode. Life standards and customs of society, morals and self-judgment derived from such elementary emotion can surely not be hard to understand. This has a tendency to get complicated, so I'm going to break out the whiteboard. So right now, we're talking about, let's see, Bergthora, and she is wife to Njal. Alright. And Bergthora has promised that Njal and her have one fate. One thing is going to happen to both of them. Essentially, she's saying, if you die, I die. When you prosper, I prosper. I'm by your side, and that is what I promised Njal. Alright? Then, we have here, Eagle. Eagle. Skallagrimsson. Alright. So far, this is just a character that Wilhelm has brought up, right? He's riding along on horseback, and his son is dead. So, we don't know who his son is yet, but we do know that he's dead. I don't know if you guys can see that. His son is dead. I'm going to stop right there. If you guys want to get something else out of these videos, if you want them to be longer, if you want them to be shorter, please comment below. Rate, comment, subscribe. It helps me out. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.